Triple Hit Production.
All right, let's get SweetLee in the scriptures. For real though. So let's get SweetLee in the scriptures. And I think it's so much happening in Genesis 1 through 3. I might have to break this up a little bit. So let's do just Genesis 1 for now. And I really I was going to get SweetLee in the scriptures later, but I really feel compelled to do it right now. And the reason why I feel compelled to do it now is because why not talk about God's creation as He's creating while sitting in God's creation? Okay. All right. Let me reel it in. In the beginning. In the beginning. In the beginning. I feel like that in itself, I done closed it. I done closed the book because in the beginning in itself, I feel like says a lot. What are you beginning today? What should you be beginning? Beginning is a beautiful thing. This is me beginning. Everything has a beginning. And the beautiful thing is, God blessed us with free will, which means you get to choose to have a beginning. You get to choose beginnings. You get to choose what you want to begin. Okay, let me open it back up. But in the beginning, just had me stuck on that for a little bit because I'm like, ooh, in the beginning. So, yes, we're going to pause that and say, what are you beginning today? What should you be beginning? What's on your heart to begin that you haven't? What are you afraid to begin? You know, God has not given us the spirit of fear. You better go do that thing. I'm just saying. So, yeah, in the beginning. All right, let me quit clowning. Let's talk about creation, creating. What should you be creating? When you're creating something, it's formless. And here in the Bible, it says, now the earth was formless and empty. So don't let whatever you want to create being formless and empty and just maybe the energy of your imagination or thoughts keep you from beginning. Now, stop playing. Go create something. Things we say matter. Then God said, let there be. And there was. Then God said, let there be. And there was. I remember when I first read the Bible, I really was stuck in this space because I'm like, I know I've always had this desire to create. I don't know if it's a thing that only I feel because I can only tell you my experience. But I know that I've always felt this longing to create, to do, to be something. And it just really fascinated me because it made me think about the power of the tongue, one. So, how the things you say really matter, but also that you should speak over the things that you're creating. So, in my case, I'm trying to create a business. I'm creating my business. So I should be saying, let there be my business. And there was my business. So then Leisha said, let there be. And there was. So what is it that you should be saying? Let there be. And there will be for you. Yes. I'm going to put that in my back pocket because I'm going to try that for myself later. So actually, can we talk about light for a minute? Because the let there be I'm looking at as I'm saying this is then God said, let there be light, and there was light. And it's a lot of things that, so in this same chapter 1, God talks about how we're actually not in chapter 1. Where did God create? Look, where does God create us? Well, in between Genesis chapter 1 and 3, when God is creating, God said, let us create man in our image. And so, if we're created in God's image, and when something's created in your image, you may not be as powerful as it, but you get the qualities of it. And so, if this is how God creates, wouldn't it be crazy if we didn't try to create in that same fashion? Just a thought. But then also, as I'm sitting out here right now looking at the water, and let's talk about light a little bit and things reflecting something's image. Let's bring this in. It's coming home. It's coming home. So the sun is shining. It's light, right? Yes. The sun is shining its light on the water behind me. Well, really, the sun is shining its light on everything. But the water behind me is reflecting the light that the sun is shining on it. So let's briefly pause there to say when a light is shown onto something, if something has the capacity, it will then reflect your light to you and others. Because I'm also watching the beautifulness of how the light from the sun reflects off of the top of the water and makes this beautiful crystal shiny situation happen. It's refracting the light. So just kind of taking that in, because then it makes me think again into how it says, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And how it says that there's light within us that we can nurture, grow, think, and share, things of that nature. And it's crazy because the light that's shining on top of that water isn't even really, it's benefiting not only the water, because I don't know, heating the water up, but it's benefiting me because I get to see the beauty of it. And also, in a way, it's lighting stuff up too. You know, it's another source of light in the world. So, if we're made in God's image, and then I just think of the sun putting its image onto the water, and then it comes off as this crystal illuminating of the refracting of the light off of the water. And then I'm admiring it. It just makes me think of how God making us in his image works on us, but also how the light within us works through us. Something to ponder on. Something to ponder on. The phrase of be fruitful and multiply. I was reading Exodus because it was about the story of Moses. And Moses is visited by his father in law. And so when Moses was visited by his father in law noticed that Moses was basically being the judge for the people of Israel. So the people of Israel were waiting in these long lines, waiting to see Moses, to speak to Moses about whatever problems or concerns or things or whatever they wanted to hear judgment about from God. Because it's like Moses was the go-between between them and God and helping them understand how to navigate things in a godly way. So his father-in-law sees this and he's like, what are you doing? And Moses is like, oh, I'm the judging for the people. And as he's doing this, his father-in-law is like, no, this is not sustainable. You're going to burn yourself out for, I'm definitely paraphrasing, but you're going to burn yourself out. This is not sustainable. And he recommended he do something. And he said, how about you select different men and then break them up by the thousands, the hundreds, the 50s, the tens, and allow them to oversee these groups of people and allow them to then judge for the smaller things, or I don't want to say the smaller things, but the more minor things that they need advising on. So with that, you select your people and then you instruct them on how to be an adequate judge or how to judge things. And it made me realize that's multiplication. And that's the sign of wonderful and true leadership, is to be able to instruct someone, teach someone something on how to do something. Because now, not only do you know it, but since you taught it to someone else knows it. Now that makes two. And then if they teach it to someone else and you teach it to someone else, that's now that makes four. So in thinking of just be fruitful and multiply, I also think of what are you teaching someone? Are you teaching someone something? Are you instructing someone of something? Because that's multiplication too. I think that sometimes we can be very limited, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying I know sometimes life is moving so fast that I'm not thinking that deeply about things. And I know the first time I read, at this point I've read a couple different times in the Bible where God says, "Be fruitful and multiply." And I've always thought of, have kids, be fruitful, get some money, have some kids. It's always been what has come to mind for me. But it was shown to me a different way when I was doing my reading this morning. And I wanted to share that with you all, is that fruit and multiplication can also be, what fruit do you have that you can teach to someone else so now they also have that fruit? What seed can you plant in someone else so they can then grow that fruit and then teach them something? So, yes, I feel like I'm getting wordy, but be fruitful and multiply. You can multiply in very many ways, but teaching is a way that you can multiply. So, what are you teaching today? Who are you teaching today? Go teach somebody something. What do you know that you can learn or teach someone else? Or how about you learn something so you can then give that gift of your new knowledge away to someone else? Stop gatekeeping your knowledge. Teach somebody something and multiply that knowledge in the earth. But please teach them something good. Don't be teaching them no mess. Fruit. Teach them fruitful things. Okay. We still in Genesis chapter 1. This is where we just gonna keep on winding on down. If we look at creation, God created the place for man before placing him there. So the earth, the light, the everything for man to live, to be fruitful, to multiply, to subdue the earth. God created it all first. So it makes me think, if God in the beginning, and in the beginning is really the ideal way of how life was supposed to work, or how God wanted the relationship for life and us to go. So if in the beginning God prepared the place before placing the man there, it makes me ponder on what in my life have I thought that I wasn't good to be there, or what place do you feel unqualified? That's the word. So if God prepared the place before creating the man to place him there, if God prepared the place before he placed the man there, know that any place that you're in, God has prepared it for you. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So if God prepared the place before placing the man there, whatever place you're in, whether that's in life, physically, mentally, spiritually, God has prepared that place to place you there. And I'm not saying every place, because sometimes things can be of our own making, okay? Sometimes we do stuff like, that ain't God, I did that myself. But just know that wherever God wants you to be, God has prepared that place before he placed you there. Yeah. And I'm saying that for myself, because we're going to get into what I'm going through now. Another day, another place, another time. But yes, God, whatever you're going through, whatever place you're in, if God called you to be there, God has prepared that place before placing you there. Yeah. Okay. So, as I put a pin in SweetLee in the scriptures for Genesis chapter 1, I also just want to say about how God has blessed us to have the breath of life. I don't know, it just makes me want to take a breath. Sorry, I'm a little sick, so let's not even. But yeah, you have the breath of life. I have the breath of life. Oh, that was such a blessing. You should do it too. But, well, that's Genesis chapter 1, y'all, for SweetLee in the scriptures. I don't really have a cadence to how this goes, but when I read my Bible, things just pop up or thoughts pop up in my mind, and I normally jot them down. I highlight, I write it, I ponder on it. So hopefully, I've given you something to ponder on today. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you're the reason someone smiles today. Now go make your day sweetly done. Have a sweetly done day. We'll talk about why that's funny later.